Where you lead, I will follow anywhere that you tell me to. Okay, welcome to the Read Like a Gilmore reading challenge. I'm Courtney and welcome to my channel. If you're not already following me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, feel free to do that. The links to those social channels are in the description below. And on these channels, I post a little bit more frequently and have some more bookish content in addition to updates about this challenge. So on YouTube, I only post about once or twice a week, but on my other social media channels, a lot more times throughout the day even. All right. It is here, the big reveal of my next reading challenge for the months of April, May, and June. So the first part of the year, or the first quarter of the year, we did the Read Around the World challenge, and now I'm introducing you to the next challenge, which is Read Like a Gilmore. So a little bit different, not just in concept and topic, but also the style of how this reading challenge is going to go. So I have my Luke's t-shirt already donned. I have some other Gilmore-isms kind of thing thrown into the challenge as well. I expect nothing less. I hope you expect nothing less as it comes to Gilmore Girls. And yeah, I'm excited to launch this and get you all ready to go for it and get you signed up. So my love of Gilmore Girls, where do I begin? I started watching that when it was on the CW, I believe, when I was in high school, early high school, late high school, and just continued to rewatch the seasons over and over again up to a point. I usually don't watch season 7. I sometimes skip the Logan seasons. Sorry, I'm Team Jess all the way. And then I've only watched A Year in the Life, which is the Netflix short series or limited series, and I only watched that one once. So maybe I'm making my way through the series again. I'm currently in season 4, which that's usually when I stop watching it, even though I love when she goes to college. But anyway, so that I just love Rory Gilmore. I know it has its like pros and cons to the story, and like the characters are flawed and I get very angry at some points, but it's also a very beloved series and one I come back to over and over again. I've made lots of friendships and connections through that series, so it's very near and dear to me. Obviously, as I own this t-shirt and some other Gilmore kind of things around my apartment. So what better way to have a new reading challenge than be around the Gilmore Girls? So yeah, I was inspired a little bit by the guest post that Novel Pairings did. So Sarah and Chelsea, we had talked during their podcast episode where I was a guest about how much we loved Gilmore Girls and how some of my reading was influenced by the story, by the characters, and so on and so forth. So we did a guest post on my blog about different characters and the books we would kind of associate with them. So Sarah and Chelsea put together an awesome list. I will link that down below in the description as well, but I kind of wanted to spur off that a little bit more and get some more creative juices going as it comes to the reading challenge. So not as strict or as prescribed as the list that they have of here's a character, here are the books that are associated with them, but for my challenge I'll have 12 different prompts and you can choose which book you want to associate with that prompt. So hopefully you have some books laying around on your TBR, on your current shelf, on your audiobook app, at the library that's being held for you, that you can associate and get through books in a different kind of way, maybe a more fun kind of way, and share on social media platforms. So to begin, before I share what the prompts are, head on over to incessantbookworm.com and the reading challenge is there, and you can look under Read Like a Gilmore for all the details. It'll have this video as well as the sign up link, how to submit books, and a little bit more of the logistics of the reading challenge. But basically from April 1st through June 30th, you can read up to 12 or maybe more books that are associated with the list that I will provide, and you can submit a form every time you finish a book for more chances to win a $25 gift card to the indie bookstore of your choice. So very excited about that, promoting indie bookstores around the country, around the world, depending on where you're coming from or where you're going to be participating from. So with that, I will share right now, right here, the 12 different prompts, and I'll show you which books I have that are going to be associated with that. So the first prompt is, I live in two worlds. One is a world of books. And this is a quote that Rory Gilmore says at her graduation from Chilton. And the prompt for that is a book from the Rory Gilmore reading list. So I chose Tender is the Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This I picked up over winter break, right into the new year of this year, at Sundog Books in Seaside Heights, Florida. So that was very exciting. I just love the cover. It's just so pretty and very inviting. And I know F. Scott Fitzgerald's a very famous writer, and this was a book that was on her, I think it's like 339 books that were referenced on the Rory Gilmore like reading challenge that were like in the show, either like as a physical object or a quote from, or like Rory is like talking about the book or the author of some sort. I don't remember what part this one was mentioned particularly, but I'm excited to read a modern classic. The next one is, if you're going to throw your life away, he better have a motorcycle. And this is what Lorelai says to Rory, I believe in episode 1, when she learns that Rory doesn't want to go to Chilton because of a cute boy she met at Stars Hollow High who happens to be Dean. So this one, the prompt will be a book about a mother-daughter relationship. So I don't have one picked out for this yet, because that is quite a big undertaking, I guess. Like there's a lot of books that have a mother-daughter relationship or parent-child kind of relationship. So I kind of want to see and comb through what I own and see, not necessarily that it has to be like the biggest part or plot point in the story, but some kind of significance there. The next prompt is, we're almost there and nowhere near it. All that matters is that we're going. So Lorelai, I believe, tells this to Rory when they are on their way to Harvard, or maybe they don't know that at the time, but they are leaving town in the middle of the night / early morning because Lorelai doesn't want to get married to Max Medina. So interesting. So what goes along with that is a book about an adventure. So I picked The Windfall by Diksha Basu, and this was sent to me in a subscription box where it's my coffee and book subscription box that my brother and sister had gifted me for my birthday for 1 month and then the month of December. So I got 2 months worth, and this was, I believe, November's pick. So this is about a family in India that aren't living in like the best neighborhood, but come into a large sum of money and then move to like a richer part of New Delhi. So it's about them kind of figuring out what that means for them. And it is some kind of adventure, I would say, of a different part of town or the country and learning a new way of living and how they can be successful. The next prompt I have is, oh, people die, we pay. People crash a car, we pay. People lose a foot, we pay. And this is when Richard at family dinner or Friday night dinner at the Gilmore residence is talking about his insurance business when Rory asks him how it's going. So I always thought that one is very funny. So, but the prompt is a book about business, ... or insurance. I chose Black Buck by Mateo Askaripour, and this is a relatively new book. I bought this on Valentine's Day as a treat for myself, and it's one that I'd seen all around Bookstagram, especially supporting Black authors and Black characters. So this details a young man who I believe works in a Starbucks in the lobby of like an office building, and then is approached to join a team. I think it's like a sales team, and we see what happens from there. So interested to see that. I've heard a lot of good talk and good reviews for this story. The next quote I have is from Paris, and she says, I want to live my life so that I'll be able to read an in-depth biography of myself in later years and not puke. Very much Paris in terms of being like strong, independent woman and wanting to make her mark in the world. So my pick for that will be a nonfiction book. And I chose Notorious RBG, The Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg by Irin, Carmon, and Shana Knizhnik. Apologies, but this is a fun kind of like illustrated but photographic account of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life. So this was gifted to me by my friend Hannah during my birthday. So each of my friends kind of bought me a book that like is very in line with their personality and like their values that they think I would enjoy, and I am excited to dive into this one. The next prompt I have is this thing we're doing here. You, me, I'm in, I'm all in. This is when Luke tells Lorelai when they first start dating or like testing the waters. I believe it's in season 5, maybe season 6. And they are talking about like, how can we make this an amazing story, like amazing part of something we've both kind of been wanting and just haven't found the right time for. So this will be a love story. What better love story than Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer? So this is the Edward Cullen retelling of Twilight, the original story. This is a massive book, so hopefully I'll be able to get this done within the 3-month time frame. But this is a young love story, but an old soul as it comes to Edward. Then we have I Just Take a Book With Me Everywhere, It's a Habit. This will be a book about books. So I have the Transatlantic Book Club by Felicity Hayes-McCoy. I feel like this has been on my TBR like month after month after month, and I'm hoping that this is the time that I will be able to complete this book. So this is about a book club in both Ireland and I believe Canada, or the northern part of the United States, where they are kind of related, or the folks in Ireland had immigrated to North America and they're trying to like connect the generations and the different families there through a book club. So I thought that would be kind of interesting. Then we have It's My Responsibility as Your Best Friend to Make Sure you do exciting things even when you don't want to, a book about friendship. And this is, I believe, Suki is talking to Lorelai in one of their many chats of inspiring each other to be the best that they can be, especially when it comes to going after their dreams, like opening the Dragonfly Inn or finishing their business degree or things along that sort. So I have Firefly Lane by Kristin, and this is a library book I picked up and had reserved like months ago, and it came just in time. I will probably have to read this earlier on in the reading challenge since it's due in the middle of April, but this is also a Netflix series about 2 women who have known each other, I think, over 3 decades, and kind of what their friendship has dealt with throughout those years, from being children at like 5 or 6 or like grade school up until their adulthood. The next quote we have is, "You have so many years and screw-ups ahead of you." This is a book about mistakes. So don't have a book for this one yet, because again, this is kind of, could be anything. Like pretty much every story you read, somebody made a mistake, or like that's like the conflict that's happening, or what gets the story going, or rising action. Is that what it's called? I'm not familiar with like the terms of the different parts of the book. I think denouement is a word or term in there. Don't know what it means. Anyway, so I still need to look through my current TBR pile to figure out what that would be. But this quote is, I think, when Lorelai is talking to Rory about something that may have happened. I don't know if it was when she stayed out all night with Dean by accident and fell asleep in Miss Patty's like yoga studio. So not sure there, but we know there are a lot of mistakes that are made in Gilmore Girls as well, in the books and in life. Next up, little tip, if you ever want to speak to me again, don't pull that out of my ear. A book about magic. So this, I've listened to Gilmore Guys a lot. It's a podcast. I think they've transitioned into a different content, but they are 2 gentlemen. One has seen the entire series and one gentleman has not, and they watch episode by episode and kind of debrief everything. And then by the time they get to the seasons about Jess, they keep commenting about like him doing these weird magic tricks, like making an apple disappear or a book disappear or something like that. So that just made me laugh when I saw that quote. So that I picked A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This will be my second V.E. Schwab, but this is the first in the Darker Shade of Magic series, and I've heard a lot of good things about this. This is, I believe, a young adult series as well. Another quote from Paris, I made a list of enemies which I've narrowed down from 26 to 5, and I am going to associate this with a book about revenge. Still haven't picked this one out yet, so stay tuned for what that could look like. I was thinking of A Count of Monte Cristo, since that's like one of my favorite revenge stories, but I've already read it, so something along that vein. If you have something like that, let me know in the comments. The last quote I have is, "Mom, you've given me everything I need," and this is a quote from Rory to Lorelai, and this is an inspirational or uplifting book. So I've picked Clock Dance by Anne Tyler, and this is my first Anne Tyler novel, and this also came in the December subscription box to my coffee and book box, and this is about a woman's transformative journey from the defining moments of her life, and you kind of span it over, I think it's like 50 or 60 years. Yeah, around 50 years, and what she's learned throughout those defining moments. So there you go. Those are the 12 prompts. I also added a little fun like levels that you can reach in terms of like how many books that you are reading in this challenge over the 3 months. So the first level is a beloved troubadour, and this is if you read 1 to 5 books over the 3 months. Then we have Stars Hollow Townie, and this is if you read 6 to 11 books. And finally, a Gilmore if you read 12 books. So those kind of levels don't really mean much when it comes to submitting your form whenever you read a book. It's just more of a fun thing on the side to see how many books you're able to read and kind of what fun level and Gilmoreism that is thrown in there based off how many books that you read. So if that sounds of interest to you, head on over to incessantbookworm.com. I'll leave the link down below directly to the sign-up sheet and the main landing page, which has all the details there with instructions on like what counts as reading. I'm very, very flexible on that. How often you can submit a book that you have read, different hashtags that you can use. And once you sign up, you will get access to the tracking sheet, which you can print out and use as you see fit. I will also have Instagram templates on my template on Instagram, which makes sense, on my highlight for templates on my Instagram account that I will put down in the description as well. So those will be easy if you want to tag me or share with others the challenge that you're participating in. If you want to plan books ahead of time like I'm trying to do, feel free to do that. Or if you're more of a mood reader and want to stick things within the prompts as you go along, you're more than welcome to do that. The thing is, for the challenge, as long as you read them within April 1st and June 30th and submit all of your submission forms by June 30th, you'll be eligible to win. So you can submit 12 times because of the 12 books that you read, or one, or anywhere in between, and that just increases your chances to win the gift card to an indie bookstore. So I will not close out by continuing to sing the Gilmore Girls theme song, but thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're able to join me on this challenge. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or comment down below. Let me know who your favorite Gilmore Girls character is or any other quotes that you liked from the show. And then feel free to hit subscribe or share this video with others so they can join in on the fun as well. We won't start until April 1st, like I mentioned. But anyway, I hope to talk to you all again. I hope you join the challenge. Have a great day and happy reading.